right, we're about to get started. Just making sure everything's working over here. Is the audio working now? All right. So this is the first stream that I have done, and so I'm sure things will crash horribly, but that's the part of this thing. We hope to be doing a lot of regular development streams between now and the launch of our new game, which I'll talk about in a second. If you don't know anything about us, we're a small game studio called Heart Shaped Games, and we've made a game called Hero Generations, which is out on Steam, as well as a collectible card game that you can play on the web called High Grounds. And so Hero Generations has done well, and it's out on Steam, and we've had a lot of great feedback about it. But the one thing that we were asked about the most was, when is it coming on mobile? And we're excited to say we just announced that we are making the mobile version, and it is called Hero Generations ReGen. It's not just sort of a traditional port. We've actually done a lot of great work on it. We ported it to Unity, and we're working with another programmer named Kep Amoon, who's done a great job doing a lot of the groundwork to get the game working. And we're really excited to show you what we've got. It's definitely an early version of the game, and I kind of just wanted to give you guys a quick sneak peek at kind of what we're planning and some of the big features, but there's definitely going to be some rough edges still. I'm pretty excited to get this thing out there, but yeah, why don't we just jump into it? So you can see we've got main menu kind of stubbed out here, and the first thing you'll notice is that we actually will hopefully have multiple save slots. We definitely, in the last game, we had a single save slot, which was fine, but hopefully now you'll be able to kind of pass and play with a few of the people in your household. So let's jump in and see what we got. So right away, you probably are noticing that if you've played the first game, that the UI looks a lot different. We've really rethought the game from the ground up on how it can work best on mobile and tablets. We've shifted everything around for touch, so you'll be able to inspect areas of the world around you, like I just did with the sand there. Then you can kind of get a description of what the world is like around you, and then you can always flip back using these tabs to kind of see your character or anything else that's on the space. The other thing is we've centered the camera on the player. There's more of like a world view, which we actually still have if you want it, but you can see that it definitely takes a focus off of your character by not having it centered. So this is a good way to kind of help you find where your character is and play quickly. But the nice thing is that you can still inspect the world, and in fact, the world has changed quite a bit in this version of the game. You actually now will be able to do some motion controls to allow you to pan around the world. And right now, everything is hidden, but we'll eventually walk our way over there, and you'll be able to kind of explore and take an overview of the entire overworld at any given time to kind of make your choices. So without further ado here, let me just start walking around, and you can kind of see what's going on. We've got a new great UI that our artist Dominic put together for us. We've really tried to streamline the UI and make everything pop a bit more. So you can see we've got this high-res version of the boss, and kind of a very clear UI that's just about the combat variables that you care about. I'm going to run away from this guy because he is huge and we are young. I guess if you don't know a whole lot about the game, the basic idea is that you have a limited lifespan, and every turn you take is one year of your life. So you can see over here we have 67 years left. And so our goal is to get as much fame as possible by doing a whole bunch of different quests. That's probably a good segue into the new way that we're doing quests in the game. We got this big shiny quest button up in the left-hand corner. And now you can kind of see at a glance all the quests you've discovered and what you have to do to complete them. And each of these quests is kind of a big thing you can do to give you more fame, and that'll help you out with finding mates in the world, or getting access to different items and that type of thing. So we've got the Kill the Boss quest, which is who we just ran into very early on. And we can visit all forests, the kind of typical quests that were in the last game. But we're definitely going to be expanding that roster of quests so that each game is a little bit more different this time around. So I'm going to try to do a quick early exploration and find one of the other worlds. So we found the secret path, and now you'll notice that there's just a seamless transition into the next world. It's actually one giant map instead of having these sort of transitions that we had in the last game. So now you can kind of see the whole map, go back and see what you've accomplished and how things are doing there, and use that to kind of determine, well, should I go back to my base town, or should I just migrate to this world permanently? So I'm going to keep trying to avoid these guys until I grow up. And actually, it looks like while I was talking, we did grow up. So I've gained 11 strength, so now I'm probably a little bit more equipped to take on things. I found this item shop here, so let's go in and you can take a look at kind of the new UI that we have for this as well. I'm going to grab this sword, but the shops are always populated with a ton of items, and this version of the game, we've got a number of new items planned that we think you'll like. So I'm going to grab this sword because it gives me 5 strength in combat, so now we should be able to kind of take on some of these low-level bad guys. Pop into this town. Again, if you haven't played the game before, what we're balancing is the need to earn a bunch of fame to go up on the leaderboards versus actually finding a mate before we die so that we don't get a game over. It looks like right now my character has found a mate. It's a low-level mate that doesn't have a lot of traits or anything, but so I think we'll look around to see if we can't find a better fit, let's say. This guy's a pretty even match. I'll take the risk. We've moved a lot of the buffs and bonuses that you get in combat to only appear when they're relevant. So you can see when we jump into this next combat, up in the left corner here, we've actually got now the buff that we're getting from our wooden sword called out. You can still pull up the sidebar if you want to inspect either of the characters and get a deeper look, but we found that it's much better to have the characters big and have only the stuff you need around early on, and then for the advanced players, they can go in and poke and look at that sidebar again. So we're pretty happy with what we're at, but obviously we're really interested to see what you guys think of it and if it actually works out better. And we just got our butt kicked. So I don't want to spoil too much, but each of the worlds has a different set of quests and a different set of enemies and challenges, and this one has the sandworm, who I think looks pretty sweet with the new high resolution graphics. He's definitely huge, but let's take the risk. Why not? This is a short stream, so if we lose, we lose. And as expected, he whooped us. So I think we should try to jump back to our shire back here and find a mate. We're getting old. That's one other thing I wanted to point out with the new UI is one of the big complaints we had is that there were a lot of pop-ups that came up and kind of interrupted the flow of the game. So we've moved a lot of messages to these little things we call toast that just appear and just say, hey, something happened, but you can keep playing and ignore it if you really wanted to, which is relevant for people who have been playing a long time and they're like, I get it. I know the big things. I just want to go on. We're gonna have to fight our way back here. Oh, good. We finally won. You can see the backgrounds change to match the different world that you're in. So one of the things I'm not going to talk too deeply about, but with this overworld, we want to try to call attention more to what's going on out in the world to kind of entice you to jump out and explore. I think in the main game, one of the things that we heard about is that we have all these cool features and special bosses and secrets, and a lot of people just didn't explore beyond the first world because there was a lot to do there, and it was challenging in and of its own right. So we want to try to pull out some of those cool long-term features and make them more upfront. So our hope is to call out, for example, that there's some big event going on, or a monster appeared, or an airship existed. So why don't you track that down? We'll have a lot more exciting events happening. We've got this build bar down here, which is pretty similar to the last game. And you obviously you want to build up to try to set down some resources for yourself, but also for your kids. And we hope to expand the list of buildings that you can build to kind of have a larger tech tree. It looks like we may have died, or we're coming close to dying here. So I'm going to try to find a mate before we end the little overview. Oh no, we're in trouble. Let's see, I got 4. I'm going to try to make to this town. I think we might have a sad ending to our first official run here. Yep, he died. So sad. But that's kind of the first quick look at what we have right now. I did want to point out, we're using a new engine, Unity, which has been fantastic.